Hello, beautiful human. In this video, you are going to learn that it's not the money we want. We actually want what money brings. So let's get on to it. You see, just about 99 out of 100 people want something else. They don't want the money. Like, we don't want the money, we want what money brings. Now bear with me. We'll get it deep into this. So people who really want money are people like Warren Buffett, and they're the 1% of the world, or even less. They have the highest value of money, and they will be very rich, as you may have noticed, and sometimes, pardon me, sometimes drive the old beat up car and really not spend the money, because for them it's not about buying stuff and brands and this and that. They just don't care. They like to make money. The rest of us, we fall into the, call it, a different category. So how this all starts? So let's say there is an opportunity. We are here, and here, opportunity comes, and we say, "Oh, great! We can make some money. Let's do that. It's exciting. It's interesting. Wow! Let's do this." And then what do? We buy a course. Then we say, "Oh, I need to build another skill." Then we say, "Oh, I need another tool." Well, that's okay. Maybe we need something else. Maybe not. Doesn't matter. And then on the way there, we start to get, little, call it, results. So on the surface, we see little results, but the real reason why we wanted money is actually fulfillment. We want to feel fulfilled, right? So things are kind of happening here, and then we go kind of a little bit up, down, up, and then we realize, we reach some point. It's kind of not really, 100% fulfillment. It's maybe 10 or 20 or more, doesn't really matter. And then we see, this is not really working. And then, we see there is another opportunity or another skill which can, of course, bring me even more money. So we go back, right? Let's change color. We go back here. Oh, sorry. And we start all over the chase, for the money, the chase for the fulfillment. But we haven't really got that fulfillment. We haven't really got that money, or maybe we made a lot of money, but then sabotaged it. So we don't know what the hell's going on, right? So let's go back a little bit, because as we mentioned before, it's not the money we chase. We chase what it gives us. It gives us, in our mind, money equals feelings, and those feelings are called emotional payoffs. And emotional payoffs are stronger than a need for survival. So high achievers, for example, they know about them, so they use them. And people who don't know about them gets run by them. So if you don't know what runs you, which emotional payoffs runs you, they can easily destroy you. So let me explain. So what we want here, what money represents, is actually what we are looking are the feelings of, let's say, safety, control, right? Feeling of belonging, validation, attention, right? What else do we have? Let me check my notes. Rebellion. Rebellion, sorry. Okay, these are not, right, the only emotional payoffs. These are, how should I say, very in common with a lot of people, especially with a lot of solopreneurs. There is thousands and millions of them. It's very important to know them, because, for example, with feelings of safety, sometimes we've been struggling so long that it feels normal. So we create familiar problems to avoid unfamiliar solutions. And then we think, what if I succeed and then fail? It keeps us stuck. So, right, keeps us stuck. Control, right? What about control? We try to do everything. Let me check my notes here. We can't delegate without micromanaging. We'd rather do it ourselves than train someone else, right? And that too keeps us stuck. Feelings of belonging, looking for external validation, asking everyone for their opinion, posting stuff on social medias and whatnot just to get validated. But that also keeps us stuck. We're just looking for these feelings, right? So it keeps us stuck. Then we have feelings of belonging. Because sometimes feeling of belonging is we are afraid to succeed, because then we say, if I succeed, then I'm going to lose all my friends for, broke or not as successful. And it goes really, really deep that we basically self-sabotage and stay stuck. Then we have attention. Attention is really, really big need. Like, it's so powerful, because if you look at it, what do these days people do on Instagram especially? What's their core need? It's attention. If you look at government's core need is power and control. But the problem with attention is just attention. Like, attention is one of my emotional payoffs. That's why I do these videos. But attention is just attention. It's not love. And this is why a lot of people get stuck in a problem mode, in dramas, in victim mode, because the attention they get, they mistake it for love. So they're afraid, if I get out of my victim mode, I might lose the attention, meaning I will lose love, right? So this also keeps us stuck. So rebellion. This one's really good, because this one says kind of, you want me to succeed? No, I'll do it my way. People like that will reject the advice just because it's mainstream, and they'll rather be interesting than profitable. Again, keeps us stuck. But the point, the question here is like, why do we do this if this keeps us stuck? Because brain, now remember this, our brain, it's very, very important. Our brain does not know real, right? Actually, let's put this, doesn't know good versus bad. Brain has absolutely no idea. It is addicted. So these are like feelings. Remember, stronger than a need for survival. Our brain is addicted to feeling. So it is completely addicted to the feeling. How it gets it does not care. Brain has no idea if we settled for less, because when we do this here, we essentially settle for less. Remember, for less, remember this is very, very important to know. We settle for less, and brain doesn't not know. So it's very similar to body. Our bodies don't know if food we eat is good or bad. It only knows I will kill for it if I'm hungry enough. Literally, some people would do that. And it doesn't know that the food we eat might be complete junk that can, completely decimate, our health, get into all kinds of diseases because of bad food. Or do we eat organic food which completely serves us? It does not know, unless we consciously say, hey, this is junk food, this is full of poison, this is, processed food, not that, I will eat this. It doesn't know the need, right? If you're hungry enough, I don't know if you've ever been hungry, like hungry. We just don't care. Like, if you're hungry enough, just don't care, give me anything. I've seen a lot of people who said, I will not eat this, but when they're hungry, all rules are broken, and that's okay. Right, but I'm just trying to make an example here. The brain does the same with validation, control, rebellion, and feelings and release. Remember, these are just some of them. There is millions of them, and this is, and this is what happens. We settle, right, for less, and this is what actually keeps us stuck. Now, the bigger problem of all of this is when we settle for less, we say, doesn't really matter. this idea didn't work out, or this opportunity, I got all these skills and stuff, or next bright shiny object comes. Let me repeat the circle, right? And then this goes in circles for many, many times, right? And the thing is, we are kind of surviving, making money. I've seen people make millions and they'll self-sabotage. So that's the confusing part. Life is not really bad, right? It's just not 100%. We are kind of touching the surface. This is where we feel like I can do so much more, but that's not it. But we are stuck in this perpetual cycle of learning and more skills, more tools, more this, more that. It's not kind of, it's working, but it's not working. So what's happening, as you can understand now, we are fulfilling those needs on, call it lower level. But one big thing is also happening, which is obviously unseen. This is, if you look at it, all this is under the surface. I'll call it subconscious. When we settle for less, what's happening, we create self-identity of, I'll put it bluntly, I'm not good enough, or some sort, I can't do it. Must be something wrong. Because we say, hey, if I'm not, making those millions or whatever the desire is, if I don't have that life, then something must not be good enough. And that creates the identity. Some people like to call it failure or whatever it is, but it's not success. So we start to believe, because things didn't really work out here, we start to believe something's wrong with us, and then we start to self-sabotage, and then we make mistakes, and then we start to live in the fear of past failure. Then we develop guilt and shame because things didn't work out. We spend the money, people trusted us, and then all that, right? All this, this is called trapped emotions. Guilt, shame, fears, and then we have limiting beliefs, or this limiting, all this starts to underpin this, right? As we said before, and it becomes the cycles. And more we are in it, right? More we are in it, the worse it gets. And all we want, essentially, it's not the money. Like in most cases, not the money. Like for me, I want respect. To me, time is more important than money. I want time, I want respect, I want attention. Of course, I want money, but money is not the first. And this is where the confusion comes. All we want is the feeling. We want the emotional payoff, but brain does not know, has no idea the way we get it is not right. So how, right? How do we get this? How do we fulfill those needs, right, in a way that serves us? Well, number one is literally, I'll put it here, your own, sorry, my pen, not really working. Start to call it chase your own dream. Because when we chase bright, shiny objects, we are chasing someone else's dream, someone else's version of life. And remember, that's confusing because the carrot is the money, but money represents freedom. So we get blinded by the opportunity, by the money, because under the surface we are ran by emotional payoff of freedom, not the money. And money looks like new opportunity, cycle starts. So it's very important to chase your own dream, because then what happens is many beautiful things. You chase things not that are only interesting and exciting, and this is where money comes in. It's very interesting, exciting. You do the things that are important and fulfilling, but 100%, right? So remember, then, because it's your dream and it's interesting, exciting, it's important and fulfilling, guess what? Money follows. So you work less hours, less stress, no procrastination and all that. Okay, that's not just it. We got to get rid of the limiting beliefs, past traumas, guilt and shames and all that. But this is where we start. That's the base. So even if you get out of how to say, watching this video and you remember just this one thing, this completely changed my life and answers why I self-sabotaged everything, because I was chasing attention for many times and validation and feelings of belonging, chasing by someone else's dream. Then I would self-sabotage, then I would feel shame and guilty about it, then I would drown my sorrows in drinking and partying and whatnot, and it's a perpetual cycles. But now that I know what drives me, I can get my need for attention and validation, belonging, million and other way apart from just getting the money. Because I was thinking, if I get the money, I'll get all that. And people told me, no, you have it already. I didn't believe them, right? Then everything changes. So getting clear, right, what your dream is a really good, starting point. Anyway, so much for this video. Hopefully it helps and sheds some light that it's not really, not in all cases, it's not the money we want, it's the feeling, it's the emotional payoff, and it has nothing to do with logic. It's emotion. It destroys logic on every level. And that if you know it, if you know what's yours, you can ask yourself, there is obviously process to do it, then you can start winning in life much, much easier, much, much faster. Anyway, if you would like to know more, please look at somewhere in the description should be a link for my Unstuck call or for some future trainings to help you figure this thing out and keep you pushing you forward in life and make that money and get that freedom and get that control or whatever it is that you want. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.